material is going to come in through that big door. That's why we asked for, this was custom made for us actually, the door with the loading ramp. Because all the doors here, they're dock level. There's only 2 ramps on this building, on either end, but none in the middle. So we asked for one, they did one, they were nice enough. And so this is the robotic spray line. It's a Chefla. It's a pretty old machine, but it's a beast. It has a conveyor belt with a scanner or a light bar that reads exactly where all the pieces are placed on the conveyor belt. You put the pieces on the conveyor belt, they go through the light curtain, the computer registers exactly the position of the door or the panel on the conveyor belt and sends the information to the spraying arm. There's a sliding rack mechanism arm, I call it, with 4 guns that spray the paint on the panels that are being scanned by the light curtain. So essentially you're not wasting paint spraying on the whole table. You're going to be spraying paint only on the part, very close to where the part is on the table, eliminating a lot of overspray and waste of material. Same thing. It comes with a conveyor belt. This one, instead of just a light curtain, it actually has a 3D scanner here. So it's like I like to say that it's a set of eyes, but you can see with your eyes the shapes, but you cannot really measure. This thing sees and measures depths, widths, all the details. And then it sends them to the robot that using specific software designed for this kind of applications. 2 components, the controller of the whole machine, and then you have the actual computer that controls the robotic arm that's inside. So it's a combination of a scanner, main controller of the robotic arm, and the actual robotic arm. If that machine knows exactly where the part is on the conveyor belt and it knows where to spray, this machine does a way more intricate job because it needs to know where the frame is, at what height, then where the panel is, at what depth, how much to move, with what pressure. So it's an extremely smart and intricate machine. It does what you can do by hand, non-stop, with 100% consistency. This one here would be something that you would use as a follow-up for the sanding that the robotic sander does. That using a combination of orbital sanders, like pneumatic sanders, and it can do a super fine sanding, but it does mostly, and only actually, the surface, flat surfaces. So it's like a million fingers with sandpaper on them are touching that door. So it's a very subtle sanding, but that's what makes the sanding process end up being so high quality. Once it goes through the brush sander, it can go directly in the spraying line. So first you do all the little corners, like areas that the machines cannot touch physically, or they cannot do little lines that we have details on some of the doors. So you do those details by hand with the sandpaper. There's no getting away from sanding by hand. When you do finishing or you have a finishing shop, you have to sand by hand. That's the initial step, sanding by hand, followed by the robotic sander, and then finished with the brush sander. We're gonna have here a hydraulic lift. It's gonna lift the pieces to the height of the table so that the CNC operator can just slide the piece on the CNC table. Then the sheet to be processed is gonna be held down by vacuum onto the surface of the CNC table. There's a big vacuum pump, sucks air through the actual MDF board here, and it holds the piece firmly to the table. And then using router bits, different profile geometry router bits. This, for example, is a 1/2 inch outline. Right to left, front to back, up and down. That big computer does all the calculations, therefore achieving anything from curved cuts to straight cuts, all sorts of pockets. It can do anything that you can design, basically. So yeah, the edge bender is the machine that essentially applies this type of material on the part that has been cut from the 4x8, 4x9 sheet of pressed wood, plywood, or MDF, HDF. If it needs to be edged so that you don't see the core of the material, it goes to this machine. It's going to look like one uniform piece of material. This is the most important thing. We do everything from start to finish. We have control over all the aspects of design, manufacturing, delivery, and installation. We've been doing it for so many years and we have so much experience. But anybody could say that. We've done everything behind the curtains as well. So managing the project as in depth as it could be managed. I could say literally nothing that we have not done when it comes to custom cabinetry.